Thank you again for joining us in our nation's capital. It is an honor to be part of the DC IP Forum. My name is Nicholas DeAndre, and I'm a registered patent agent with NEOIP. NEOIP is a intellectual property law firm based in Durham, North Carolina, where we empower innovators to impact society for good. I also work with MagicNumber, a company that is focused on providing insights based on patent data about the market. And it is my honor today to introduce to you our visionary, JiNan Glasgow George. JiNan is recognized worldwide for her expertise in intellectual property. She has spoken about intellectual property in front of the UN Economic Commission for Europe and has been a featured speaker at IP conferences on 4 continents, and her insights have been featured on the likes of Bloomberg, and she recently became a contributor for Forbes as a member of the Forbes Tech Council. As an inventor, entrepreneur, patent attorney, and former USPTO patent examiner, JiNan's background gives her the ability to see intellectual property from the corporate, legal services, and government perspectives, a unique personal experience not common in the industry. She has a track record of helping companies increase their valuation through developing an IP strategy that helps them own their zone. With many of the projects she has worked on, she is seeing valuation increases of 5 to 15 times. JiNan is also the founder of MagicNumber, which is the world's leading patent for forecasting technology. MagicNumber provides valuable insights in over 30 industries. Last year, she penned an article identifying Fitbit as a high-value acquisition target because of Google and Apple's growing interest in the consumer sleep industry. JiNan's clientele has introduced the likes of Apple, Microsoft, Apple, and Visa. She has degrees in engineering, law, and theology from NC State, UNC Chapel Hill, and Duke University, respectively. Please welcome JiNan Glasgow George.
Welcome, and thank you everyone for joining us. This is our second DC IP Forum. So thanks for being here. We have a number of people from different industries, from various law firms, and a number of congressional offices. Thanks for joining us today. We founded this DC IP Forum to engage experts and industry leaders with policymakers in our government. We're seeking to focus this conversation on some of the industries and technologies that are making and will make the most commercial impact going forward. Obviously, we know that innovation and invention are really important foundations of our nation's economy. And entrepreneurs and innovation-based companies are the majority of job creators and job growth in our nation year in, year out. We all know that intellectual property is an essential element. Intellectual property typically is the most important asset in every business, whether it's cryptocurrency and high tech, all the way to biotechnology. IP assets have a multiplier effect on valuation, and they very often are the motivator for larger companies to acquire smaller companies. So obviously, intellectual property and patents are the focus of our conversation today and at every forum. It's also important to think about patents. Every single patent is an inventive solution to a problem. If you look at one at a time, that's interesting. But when you look trends across industries, you could really see patterns of investment by companies. The data is where the insights come from. If you think about our US patent system, it has been the #1 globally since its inception. Until recently, it was also the most active globally. There were over 500,000 new patent applications filed in the US every year. About half of them are coming from outside our country, because this is still the leading market for intellectual property in the world. Yet we've seen some changes. Judicial, administrative, and legislative actions and inactions have had a lot of impact on our patent system and our economy of late. By way of action, I think about the America Invents Act and Supreme Court cases that in recent years have seen the most patent-related court cases than ever before. And yet, we've seen a lot of inaction. Even this week, 3 denials of cert to the Supreme Court for patent cases. There's a clear signal there. It's time for legislative action to address some of these negative impacts, the uncertainty, the inconsistency, maybe even bias within our patent system. All of these have negatively impacted patent values and transactions. They've affected startup, investment, and valuations. We believe that the Supreme Court is signaling that it's time for legislative action, and yet yesterday we spent some time on Capitol Hill speaking with a number of offices and even the Committee for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. The role of this forum is increasingly important. We learned that one of the major issues might even be about unity among pro-patent stakeholders. Many of you fall into that category. We learned that the America Invents Act took about 8 years to move through the legislature, and perhaps even over $100 million in lobbying funding to move it. The role of 101, or patentable subject matter, and how it's affected software is a great case in point. I've encountered over a number of years concerns that software is no longer patentable. Couldn't be farther from the truth. Yet here we are today, and we're going to focus on technology areas like cryptocurrency and blockchain and edge computing, all of which require software for innovation, require software inventions. So I hope as we dive deeper into this conversation, as all of you are stakeholders and have interest in it, that you'll be part of the conversation today and perhaps even part of the ongoing conversation as we have future DCIP forums. And with our specific focus today, I'd like to ask that you share questions, that you share your input and expertise, and your feedback on these technology areas, and also on areas of future interest for other technology concentrations. So thank you for joining us today.